Welcome to Backbone Unlimited. My name is Matt Hartsky. Today will be the next video in a series diving into how to apply as a non-resident for big game in the most prominent Western big game states. To the best of my knowledge, as always, be sure to do your own research. I'm going to have a separate video for Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Montana, and Utah, so stay tuned for each of those in the coming weeks. In this episode, we're breaking down exactly how the Arizona big game draw process works for non-residents applying for elk, mule deer, and pronghorn, not any of the other critters. Arizona's system is one of the most unique and strategic in the West. It combines a bonus point system with a random element that keeps things interesting year after year. It also rewards persistence, but still gives even first-time applicants a real shot at drawing a tag. If you're building a multi-state hunting plan and want to understand how Arizona fits in, especially when to apply, how points work, what hunts you can realistically draw, and how the non-resident quota impacts your odds, this episode will give you a full step-by-step breakdown. We're going to walk through the application timeline, the different draw phases, how the point system functions, and how to strategically build your applications for elk, deer, and pronghorn over the long term. This is focused entirely on non-resident hunters, so we're stripping away the resident details and diving straight into what matters for you, the cost, the deadlines, and the strategy behind it all. Here's how Arizona works at a glance for non-resident hunters. Arizona Game and Fish runs one of the most structured and fair draw systems in the country. Every year it offers big game hunts for elk, mule deer, and pronghorn through a single centralized draw. To get started as a non-resident, you must first purchase an Arizona hunting license, and the only license available to non-residents that allows entry into the draw is the non-resident combination hunting and fishing license. It's valid for 365 days from the date of purchase, so with smart timing, you can use that same license to apply in two different draws if you plan it right. Arizona separates its draw into two major cycles: spring draws and fall draws. The spring draw covers elk and pronghorn with an application deadline that typically falls in early February. The fall draw covers deer and other species with a deadline that usually lands in early June. Applications are submitted through the Arizona Game and Fish online portal. You're going to create an account, purchase your combination license, and then select the species and specific units, the hunts, you want to apply for. Each species allows up to 5 hunt choices, and Arizona considers your first and second choices before moving on to anybody else's third. So those first two choices are critical. They're the ones that actually matter in the draw. As a non-resident, it's also important to know that you're going to face a tag quota limit. By law, Arizona can allocate no more than 10% of the total tags for any species to non-residents. That means competition is steep in popular units, especially for elk. But Arizona also sets aside a portion of its tags for the random draw, which keeps every applicant in the game no matter how many points they have. The beauty of Arizona's system is that you can play it long-term with bonus points for the dream tags while still having a small chance to get lucky each year. In other words, even if you're sitting at 0 points, you're never completely out of the running. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of how to apply, what it costs, and when everything happens, because Arizona's process has a few unique twists that you're going to want to understand before you jump in. The first thing you need as a non-resident is that Arizona combination hunting and fishing license. It's mandatory before you can apply for any big game species. You can purchase it directly through the Arizona Game and Fish website, and it's valid for 1 full year from the date of purchase, not just for a calendar year. That's a key detail because if you time it right, you can use that same license for 2 separate draws. For example, if you buy your license in late January before the elk and pronghorn draw, it's still going to be valid when the deer and fall species draw opens in June. Once you've got your license, you can apply online through the Arizona Game and Fish portal. You're going to need to log into your personal account, choose your species, and enter your hunt choices. For elk and pronghorn applications, those are going to usually open in January and close in early February. For mule deer, the fall draw opens in May and closes in early June. Always double check the exact dates each year. Arizona is pretty consistent, but they can shift slightly. When applying, you're going to pay a small non-refundable application fee for each species you apply for. If you're drawn, you'll then be charged the full cost of the tag automatically to the credit card on file, so make sure your payment info is current and valid through at least the next month after the draw results are announced. If the card fails, you're going to lose the tag and they move on to the next in line. Another important detail, Arizona's system allows you to apply for up to 5 hunt choices per species, but really only the first and second choices are actually considered during the main draw. Your third through fifth choices only come into play if tags would remain after all the first and second choices are processed, which is probably not going to happen for elk, deer, and pronghorn. So when you apply, treat those first 2 choices like they're the only ones that matter. Once the application window closes, Arizona conducts the draw and releases results about 6 to 8 weeks later. If you're unsuccessful, you automatically earn a bonus point for that species, which we'll talk more about next. You can also skip applying for a tag and simply buy a point-only application during the draw window if you don't plan to hunt that season. That keeps you in the system and building towards better odds in future years. Finally, Arizona gives non-residents access to leftover tags after the main draw, though for elk and pronghorn, they're almost always gone. Occasionally, leftover deer tags are available in less popular units, and those are distributed through a first-come, first-served sale after the draw results come out. It could be worth checking the leftover list. Sometimes there's a hidden gem in there that nobody else noticed. Now, let's break down how Arizona's bonus point system works, because this is the backbone of their draw and the part that confuses a lot of people. Arizona uses a bonus point system for all big game species, including elk, mule deer, and pronghorn. The idea is supposed to be simple. Every year you apply for a hunt and don't draw, you earn a bonus point for that species. Those points are like extra names in the hat. When the draw happens, your total number of points plus 1, representing your current application, is squared. That number determines how many chances you get in the draw. The more points you have, the more entries your name gets, and the better your odds become. You can also purchase a bonus point only if you don't want to plan to apply for a big game tag that year. It's done through the same application window, and it keeps your point total climbing without putting you in for a hunt. A lot of hunters do this if they're already committed to other states that year or can't make an Arizona trip work. Here's where it gets interesting though. Arizona splits its draw into 2 parts, the bonus point pass and the random pass. During the bonus point pass, up to 20% of all available tags for each hunt code go to applicants with the highest number of bonus points. This is the part that rewards persistence. If you've been in the game for years, this is where your dedication starts to pay off. The other 80% of tags go into the random pass, and this is where everybody with any number of points gets a chance. Those bonus points still help you by weighing your odds, but there's no guarantee. Even a hunter with 1 or 2 points can draw a tag in that phase, which keeps Arizona exciting and unpredictable. For non-residents, there's another layer. Arizona sets a hard cap on how many tags can go to applicants from outside the state. By law, that's no more than 10% of any hunt's total tags can be awarded to non-residents. But here's the key. Non-residents compete in both the bonus point pass and the random pass. So if the tag quota allows, some of those 10% can come from the high point pool and the rest can come from the random draw. That's why Arizona is one of the best long-term investment states for serious hunters. It's pretty fair, it rewards consistency, and it still keeps you in the running every single year, even if your points are low. To maximize your odds, you need to decide early what your long-term goals are. If you're chasing premium elk units like 9, 10, or 23, understand it's a marathon. You're likely going to spend years stacking points before you get to close. But in the meantime, that random pass keeps you in the game. And if you're more interested in opportunity than trophy potential, you can use your points strategically in mid-tier units that still produce great hunts, but don't require double-digit totals. Now let's walk through how the Arizona Big Game Draw actually runs from start to finish, because understanding this sequence will help you stay in the game, plan your application smoothly. Once the deadline hits and all applications are in, Arizona Game and Fish starts processing them in 2 distinct phases, the bonus point pass and the random pass. Both are computer generated and completely transparent in how they're handled. Here's the order of operations. First, every applicant is assigned a random number by the system. Then, for each species, your total number of bonus points plus 1, representing your current application, is squared. That number of entries is tied to your assigned random number, and it determines how your application ranks. It's a weighted lottery. The more bonus points you have, the better your random number odds become, but luck can still swing it either way. Next, the system starts with the bonus point pass. Up to 20% of each hunt's available tags are allocated to the applicants with the highest number of bonus points. This phase only includes those who have built substantial point totals. For example, in the top tier elk and pronghorn units, this is where those hunters with 10, 15, even 20 points, they're going to get the shot. Once that's complete, the remaining 80% of tags go into the random pass. This is where every applicant with at least one bonus point is back in the game. Your points increase your number of chances, but everyone still competes together in the same random pool. The computer runs through applicants based on those random numbers until all tags for that hunt code are filled. Non-residents are capped at no more than 10% that we talked about earlier for each hunt code. However, non-residents are eligible to receive tags in both the bonus point pass and the random pass as long as the combined total stays within that 10% limit. In other words, if non-residents fill their quota during the bonus point pass, none will draw in the random phase for that hunt. But if not enough non-residents draw early, the remaining quota is still available in the random pass. Here's another important rule to remember. Arizona only looks at your first and second hunt choices during both draw phases. Once all tags are gone for that hunt, it doesn't move on to your later choices. That's why smart application strategy is a must in this state. You can list up to 5 choices, but really it's only your first 2 that have any chance of making it. After both passes are complete, the system tallies all results and applies any remaining tags, if there are any, to special youth or other categories, and then Arizona Game & Fish posts the official draw results. Those results typically come out about 6 to 8 weeks after the application deadline. This entire structure is what makes Arizona so appealing to non-residents who play the long game. It rewards loyalty to the system, but still gives everybody a fair shake every single year. Even if you're sitting on 1 or 2 points, you're always going to have that random chance to draw a quality tag. Now let's talk about how to actually build your Arizona application strategy as a non-resident for elk, mule deer, and pronghorn. This is where the point system, the draw order, and the 10% quota all come together, and where your long-term plan really matters. Let's start with elk. Arizona elk tags are some of the most coveted in the West. The top units like 9, 10, 23, and 1 produce giant bulls every year, but they're also where non-resident odds are the toughest. Many hunters spend 15 to 20 years building points before they're even in contention in the bonus point pass for those tags. If you're just starting out, that can sound discouraging, but the key is to think out about Arizona elk as a 2-track strategy. Track 1 is your dream tag track, the high point, limited entry units you build toward over the long haul. Every year you apply, your bonus points grow, and that keeps you in the game for the max point pool while giving you a shot in the random. Track 2 is your random opportunity track. Arizona has mid-tier and late season hunts, especially cow elk or late rifle bull hunts that don't require the same mountain of points. These are the ones where non-residents with just a handful of points still draw occasionally. They're not always the glamour units, but if your goal is to hunt elk more often, it's worth including one of those options as your second choice every year. Next up is mule deer. Arizona's mule deer system is similar. It's bonus point based, but the odds are a bit more forgiving depending on the unit. The best mule deer units are in the late season, high country, the kaibab and the strip units. Those tags are extremely difficult to draw, but Arizona also has several solid general season units with more moderate odds. A lot of hunters will use their first choice for a premier tag and their second for a solid realistic hunt in a less pressured unit. For non-residents, the deer draw runs in the fall application window, so you can use your same combination license from the elk draw earlier in the year to apply again here. That's why it's smart to buy your license close to the elk deadline. That way you're effectively doubling your use of that license purchase. And finally, pronghorn. Arizona's pronghorn tags are among the hardest in the country to draw. Quotas are small, quality is high, and non-resident odds are brutal in most units. But the same rule applies. If you're not in the game, you're never going to get one. Apply every year, build your bonus points, and let time and consistency work in your favor. You can't shortcut Arizona pronghorn. It's a long-term investment only. But when you finally draw, you're hunting one of the best pronghorn populations in the West. The smartest non-resident build in Arizona is a plan around consistency. You're going to want to apply for elk and pronghorn every February, deer every June, and then never miss a year. Time your combination license purchase to cover both draws. Buy point-only applications when you can't hunt, and keep your information current. That rhythm is going to keep your bonus points climbing while giving you multiple chances every year to get lucky. If you only apply in 1 or 2 states, Arizona should absolutely be one of them. The quality of the game, the transparency of the system, and the combination of reward and randomness make it one of the most balanced states in the West. Now let's wrap it up by going over the fees, timing, and final checklist so you know exactly what to expect when you sit down to do your application for Arizona as a non-resident. So Arizona's pretty simple. That's the full breakdown of how Arizona's big game application process works for non-residents hunting elk, mule deer, and pronghorn. It's a system built on patience, loyalty, and a little bit of luck. But for the hunters who stick with it, Arizona delivers some of the best tags and biggest trophies in the West. If you're looking to take what you've learned here and build an even sharper edge into how you plan, prepare, and hunt, that's where Team Backbone comes in. If you're serious about taking this kind of knowledge deeper, that's exactly why I built Team Backbone. It's more than just a membership. It's a way to sharpen your edge with exclusive tools, strategies, and a tribe of hunters who refuse to quit. Inside, you're going to get 20% off site-wide on all Backbone Unlimited gear, a member-only t-shirt shipped to your door every month, not available anywhere else, full access to the digital content vault of guides, checklists, fitness programs, mindset training, and backcountry strategies, a private Facebook group with direct access to me, and a community of hunters who live relentless. Direct call, text, or email access to me for personalized coaching, whether it's training, hunting strategy, or mental toughness, and automatic entry into our monthly gear giveaways. This is built for the hunters who train hard, plan smart, and push themselves year-round. If that's you, join the inner circle at backboneunlimited.com underneath our membership tab. Thanks for being here. Until next time, train harder, hunt smarter, and never settle.